When I was a student in mid-60s, I used to hear these whispers. Mineral engineering or mineral processing is dead as dodo. The wave of the future is chemical engineering, aeronautical engineering, rocket science, so on, electronics, bioengineering. Mineral engineering is dead. And this I have been hearing ever since. Well, it has not died, but it is my conviction that it will die sooner than later if we don't reinvent ourselves.
Almost everywhere in the world, the operating companies have problems in soliciting engineers, for example, for their operations. And that's due to lack of interest or a small interest from students in going into universities to study mining, metallurgy and mineral processing and so on. So that's one thing we hope, of course, that the IMPC will make it easier to recruit new students. And so one of the working groups we have within the IMPC Council is concerned with teaching, with education. And recruitment, I think, for the future is very, very crucial issue.
So what the education group, the commission as they called it, of the IMPC did, was to have a look at the supply and demand worldwide. And through IMPC council members, we were able to ask universities, how many graduates are you producing? How many of them are female, for example? Where are they getting jobs? And the like, and get some idea worldwide of the supply and the demand. At the same time, I did a little bit of work to help Professor Jan Cilliers from Imperial College on where are the minerals being produced in the world. And it was very interesting in that in some countries, China comes to mind as the standout, they are producing a lot of graduates. In many other countries, and some of the countries that produce a lot of minerals, they are not producing so many graduates. And you look at this and you say, what is the mismatch here? And what it would appear is that in some of the developed countries, people are more interested in becoming doctors or lawyers or business people and so forth than they are in entering metallurgy, mineral processing, mining and the like. And that is actually a pity for a couple of reasons, for three. Firstly, in some areas of the world we have a shortage, that's obvious. But secondly, and importantly, the intellectual challenge in mineral processing is just as great as it is in being a neuroscientist or in being a top lawyer. So that's the second point. The intellectual challenge and the reward, the satisfaction that one gets from solving problems and making advances is just as great. But a lot of students don't understand that, or it has never been demonstrated to them. And then thirdly, quite frankly, in the resources boom around the world at the moment, actually people working in mineral processing can earn more than doctors and lawyers.
People want to have the raw materials or the metals or whatever it is, but they don't want to know where it comes from. Mining has unfortunately an image of being dirty and not very advanced. But someone said in mining and mineral processing, metallurgy, you produce rather sometimes simple products with advanced methods.
It is an ongoing problem to try to convince people of the importance because, as you say, it isn't considered to be a glamorous area. But I have to say that some of the recent things actually make it sound quite glamorous.
When I graduated from Indian Social Science, metallurgy and minerals were an exciting field. It was hard to get admission to the Indian Institute of Science where I went to. Now students are not as much interested in mining and minerals. So what could you do? We have started at Columbia a program in combination with our famous Lamont Observatory, which specializes in earth sciences. So when you talk about geology, geochemistry, the earth's mantle, and a lot of principles are in common with mineral processing, then you get students interested. That's probably the only way you can attract the best mind. You have to attract the best mind and then nurture that mind.
Talking about the students now know much more than we did about computers, about computer applications, about mathematical modeling and simulation and who knows what. So they are very good at that, and that's good. But on the other hand, from my point of view, they don't have, very often, they don't have enough fundamental knowledge about just physical or surface chemistry, mineralogy. Without these topics, mineral processing cannot be really very successful. Without understanding the nature of the process, the nature of the phenomena, we can't really improve this phenomena.
You can talk about minerals. This is a mineral, hydroxyapatite, fluorapatite. The bone is a mineral. Osteoporosis is because the mineral chemistry changes, calcium dissolves. So when you talk about such things, again, some kids get interested. And in the tissue engineering, the new field, you take stem cells and you feed the right nutrients. They can become teeth if you provide phosphate, because it's a calcium phosphate. If you provide fatty acids, it becomes tissue, and so on and so forth. So when you talk about this emerging new field, which is also important for the health and welfare of the people, because using tissue engineering, now they are starting to treat not only bladder, but last week there was an article in New York Times about one man's windpipe being completely replaced by a plastic but then coated by stem cells. He would have died by now. Now it's 2 years later, he's still alive. But there is a lot of mineral principles involved in it, because our body has iron in hemoglobin, in all kinds of minerals. Lead, if there's too much lead goes into hydroxyapatite, solubility is so low, and that's why the lead is supposed to be thought to be contained, which is not good, because it doesn't get released. So the cadmium and all these metals, we lost so much metals. We don't talk about that to the students.
Both undergraduate, postgraduate, and higher education towards the PhD, etc. We should have improvements in the curriculum for teaching, so that many talented students can be attracted towards these things, and for which I think we have to do a groundwork.
The problem, including my own cousins and their daughters, they're all interested in IT because immediate jobs and immediate money. Even though looking at a screen for all your life, there is no intellectual value in it. But if you tell them about the nature of bonding involved in minerals and how we can make a reagent that is specific for just one atom, that is gold or something platinum, and that if you teach them the chemistry that is there, then they can get excited.
The young people today seem to be wanting to have an education which gives them flexibility of careers. They don't want to have a qualification which locks them in to a particular career. So for example, minerals processing embraces many aspects of chemical engineering, process engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and it seems more and more to me, it's my personal view, that the young people today would rather have a core qualification which gives them flexibility with the extra added on either at senior undergraduate or postgraduate level so they can go into these industries such as the mining industry. So I think we need to be smart not to expect the young people today to commit themselves to a lifetime career in our industry. Young people today are going to move very often, and they're going to move globally from continent to continent, from company to company, and that brings challenges in its own right, but I think that's the world we're living in.
you see the people, they are choosing only works, how they got a job and how can they win, how much they can earn. This is very important. Then nobody wants to go to mining because of the all the mines in the countryside. There is no mine in the city, you know. This is the reason. But I hope in mineral processing we'll get many of the very clever young people in Turkey, and then they will. It is, I don't know, in India I think there more people is, but in the Western country nobody is going to the mining or another, only few people.
So right now the mining companies cannot find enough people in mineral processing. What do? They take chemical engineers, electrical engineers and try to convert them. It is good to some extent, but chemical engineers, no offense to them, but they don't understand the complexity of the mineral systems. For that, you have to take courses in mineral engineering. But to get the best people, you have to have other topics included there. Other topics that are relevant, like geochemistry. Because in minerals, it includes geochemistry aspects. So that's very, very, very important. That's the only way you can attract the best people from around the world, around the country, and so on. But that's the most important problem: education of the right topics and attracting the best mind, the brightest mind.
Any metallurgy or chemical engineering department, along with their regular courses, they teach what is called a mineral processing or ore dressing or whatever you call it. But they have no exposure to industry.
In curriculum, we should break the mineral processing curriculum in two parts: mineral engineering and mineral science. Engineering is hardware and processes. Science is something like molecular modeling to determine the best reagents, and fluid dynamics to say how to separate them and all that. And there should be two streams, and you should permit a student to take one as a major, other as a minor.
I think teachers have to have other disciplines. They might say, I will sit in the room, work on a computer. No. I think they have to have very good understanding of industry. Then only they can be effective teachers. Otherwise, who might produce graduates with a stamp, but it would have no market value or it would not serve purpose.
For our young people today, it's one of the richest opportunities because there are such big challenges, and bright young minds going to work on these kinds of problems is really a promising avenue.
Our commissions have started to play a key role. I just think the other challenge we now face as a discipline, as much as a council, is to involve younger people more intensively in the activities of the council, and women. The world of minerals processing has been a male-dominated profession for many, many years, although I can tell you in the university that I am at, the University of Cape Town, we have a lot of women who are entering into minerals processing as a career. So I think that's a challenge we need to be sensitive to.